All right, Dr. Ardis Show fans, hope you enjoyed the commercial break. We're back to discuss more about healthy lungs and Healthy Lung Month. All right, the sponsors for this segment are going to be KirkElliottPhD.com. Remember, they're trying to destroy your money and take everything you've saved for the last how many years. Go to Kirk Elliott PhD, call them, or go to KirkElliottPhD.com/Ardis, or just tell them Dr. Ardis sent you. Seriously, that's who I expect and who I respect and who I trust. Go to KirkElliottPhD.com now to learn how to save your finances and navigate the crappy waters they're trying to create around the world. And then number 2 is going to be GrowMaxWaterHydro.com. Put in the discount code ARDIS, ARDIS. It'll save you 10% off of these incredible water filters for your garden, your plants, you name it. And then number 3 will be HydroShot at H2Bev.com. I drink one of these every morning, including this morning. 8 hours of nitric oxide and oxygen to prevent blood clotting, improve energy, increase blood circulation, improve cognitive function, memory. So I can do these kinds of shows right now from memory. No, just kidding. And then we also have, who's our final sponsor? Oh, I have a final sponsor. It's going to be this product right here. This product is called, let's see if you can see it. It's called Breathe Free. See that? Breathe Free. I created this about 2.5 years ago because I needed people to know that the lung stress and respiratory failure people were going to see and experience from long haul COVID, I needed them to have something they could trust. So what's in Breathe Free? It's got 3 ingredients only. Vitamin A, which, just for you guys that don't know this, vitamin A is the most powerful immune boosting vitamin. In fact, you can use as much vitamin C as you want, but if you had like the flu, for example, and you took 250 to 400,000 international units of vitamin A, within 48 hours, you won't have any symptoms. And I've done that multiple times over my adult life. Vitamin A, and then we have vitamin C in there, but at a smaller dose. And then also raw lung extract. Why? People living with COPD, people living with emphysema, people living with cystic fibrosis or pulmonary fibrosis. You have an autoimmune disease destroying your lung tissue. In order to get that out, you're going to need some lung tissue that you're going to ingest to direct the antibodies attacking your lungs out of your body. So that's why I created Breathe Free. You can go to the drrshow.com and actually purchase that there. All right. It's the only lung product specifically that I have, so I wanted to make sure you guys knew about that. Now we're going to open up a dialogue about parasites and lung problems. Why? Because there's a massive amount of information about cysts in the lungs, masses in the lungs, tumors they see in the lungs, or they're being diagnosed in America with all kinds of other issues like cancers, emphysema, pneumonia. And actually, these individuals have parasites living in their lungs. So I'm going to review a document that with all of you. You're not going to see the document here. I will put it on my website later. Actually, I'm going to link it to this actual podcast. So you will have it below there. You can click that and download it, because I thought it was impressive to know just how many lung problems are being created by parasites, because nobody typically talks about parasites but me or parasitologists. All right, so this is actually Parasitic Infections of the Lung, a guide for respiratory physicians, doctors that work with lungs. Here's an education on parasites. So I'm going to go ahead and share the abstract with you because I find this awesome. Parasitic infections of the lung occur worldwide among both immunocompetent and immunocompromised patients and may affect the respiratory system in many ways. This review provides an update on the presenting symptoms, signs, investigation, management of diseases affecting the lung caused by protozoa, microscopic parasites that are the most prevalent in America, by the way, nematodes, which are roundworms found in every dog and cat and animal on the earth. You know, those heartworms, they call them in dogs and cats. Those are nematodes. And trematodes, parasites in the lungs. The clinical presentations and radiology findings, x-rays, CT scans, MRIs, they're going to discuss in this actual thing. And the diseases that mimic tuberculosis, cancer, malignancy. Did you catch that? Parasite infections, TB. How many oncologists in America do you think are looking at lung masses or doing biopsies and looking to see, is the tissue actually parasites? 0. I can tell you 0 of them are doing it. And then they state this: It is important to consider parasitic infections in the differential diagnosis of such lung diseases and TB. If identified early, most parasitic diseases that affect the lung are curable with medical or surgical treatments. Isn't that awesome? All right. So for those of you who believe parasites don't exist in America, that's kind of silly. You must not be a real audience member of mine, or this is your first show ever you've seen. Parasites are extremely prevalent throughout America. I've done multiple shows on this, but I have never done a show about lung diseases being created by parasites. So I want to go through this, and just so you know, do not think that nematodes, which are heartworms, trematodes that are other worms, do not think because you live in America you're not going to get this or any of these. Do you know that we are a global traveling species? We go to every country in the world and come back. Our friends, our loved ones, they travel around the world and they come back. And they're pooping in our water, in our sewer systems. They're showering in our water. I mean, we're all exposed to the same stuff. You're not going to get away from it. We're all just one big human family. We're all sharing the same things. All right. And they actually state from the beginning that with increasing travel and migration, rates of parasitic lung and pleural diseases are increasing in the immunocompetent population and the immunocompromised. Respiratory physicians should consider parasitic diseases as a differential diagnosis of lung conditions such as TB and malignancy, with which parasite lung diseases may be confused. I guarantee you no one knows this. All right, so let's get into some of these. Conditions that present with focal lung lesions. So if a medical doctor takes an X-ray, MRI, and you see some black dot, or you see something inside there that doesn't look normal, all right, they call these cystic lung lesions. If you or a loved one, they have said you have cysts in your lungs or a focal point we're focusing on, there's a mass or a black dot here. They state, in the case of those presenting with local focal lung lesions, Hydatid, Hydatid, Hydatid disease is caused by the larva of Echinococcus tapeworm species. Yes, worms, the definite host of which are members of the Candida, not Candida, Canada family, which includes dogs and foxes. So tapeworms, the host are dogs, and they transfer to humans. Most cases are caused by Echinococcus granulosus, which has a worldwide distribution. Worldwide, not just China, not just South America, worldwide. And although most cysts form in the liver, 20 to 30% of this tapeworm's cyst will actually show up in the lungs of humans. So how many medical doctors do you think are looking for that when they see a spot on your lung and say, hey, we need to do a biopsy? Dogs are, they state, the definitive host for E. granulosus and harbor the adult worms in their gut in a dog. The eggs are shed in the dog's feces and remain viable for many weeks and are able to contaminate food sources of intermediate hosts, such as sheep, cattle, and horses. When humans become accidental intermediate hosts after eating food contaminated with eggs of the parasites, the ingested eggs hatch, releasing larvae which migrate from the gastrointestinal tract, from your intestines, to your bloodstream. The eggs travel to the liver or lungs and slowly develop into Hydatid cysts over a period of several months or even years. Occasionally, lung cysts form after transdiaphragmatic spread across your diaphragm of parasites following the rupture of liver cysts. The liver is right below your diaphragm. If the liver cysts come out of the cyst, these parasites, they often will punch holes in your diaphragm, crossing the diaphragm to get inside of your lungs. At presentation, I think this is a phenomenal show, by the way, already. I'm super excited. Ask your doctor if your lung symptoms are caused by parasites. Guarantee every doctor's going to tell you this. Parasites don't exist in America. Then you need to run from those people because they're uneducated, or tell them to sign up and learn from the Dr. Ardis show. And then show them this actual article. All right, so presentation. The patient will present if they have parasites in their lungs. They often will be asymptomatic, and patients may remain asymptomatic for years, meaning no symptoms, during which time lung lesions may be discovered incidentally on a chest X-ray. In Europe, for example, the average patient is in their 30s at diagnosis. Cysts may cause symptoms by compression of adjacent structures. Lung cysts may be present with a chest pain, cough, or pneumothorax. meaning your lung collapsed. Symptoms may also occur if antigenic material is released from the cyst, causing a hypersensitivity reaction with a fever, wheeze, and urticaria, and rarely anaphylaxis. Urticaria are these big red like splotches all over your skin, rashes. Cysts may become secondarily infected, causing empyema or lung abscess formation. All right, so anybody with a localized cyst in the lungs, please make sure you tell your doctors to consider parasite testing. You're going to do a stool test. Before I even go any further into this actual review, and I will post this here along with this actual show so you can download it and share it with your loved ones. We have to